Sneaking out of Tupelo in the middle of the night in 1948 and headed to Memphis because things just weren't going well for Elvis's father, and they owed people money and were behind on the rent. So they threw everything in the trunk of a car similar to this, some boxes on the roof, and took off. And you know, down on their luck, this car was only 9 years old. Big Bubba over there is 27 years old. There is a whole giant area here to walk around, and you can see the outside of things like Elvis's childhood home that you see in the pictures. All of those things you can do for free. You can just stop here and do this and tour the memorial gardens. Is it worth doing the tours? We'll get to that in a minute, but let's concentrate on the way this is laid out and what you can see for free just by stopping by here. In 1934, the year before Elvis was born, his father, Vernon Presley, took out a $180 loan to build this house. Now, I've been talking to some people coming through here. We just all keep striking up conversations about different Elvis things. But one guy was here about 94 and 95, and he said the only thing that was here at that time was this house. Was just fenced off. He said it was opened up. There were no tickets to buy. You could go in, walk through, whatever. So, would have been nice to have come here then. But this is still a nice little setup that they have here now. Let's get around and see some more of what is on this ground, and then we'll talk about the tour stuff some more. Now, this divided up sidewalk goes in a big circle all the way around the house from 1935 when he was born to 1977 when he died, and there's some little interesting fact about each year. One thing they did not put on here, in 1936, Tupelo suffered through a massive tornado which tore the heck out of this city, and amazingly, this house survived it. Unfortunately, Vernon managed to lose this house a couple of years later. The house was repossessed, the car was repossessed. He'd gone to prison for basically writing bad checks. Something I didn't know when Elvis was about 12 years old is he performed at the county fair pretty much within walking distance of here. And of course he won, right? No, he came in 5th for his performance of Old Shep. This is really well done here. Lots of benches everywhere you go, places to sit. And this would have been the age that Elvis was when his family left Tupelo and they went to Memphis looking for a change of luck for their family. This church sat about 1 block from here, so the house is the original location. It's not been moved. The house is where Elvis actually lived as a child. These places did not have air conditioning, so the doors and windows were open in the summertime. Let me say this, if you're from the west or the north, if you're not from the south and you've not been around Assembly of God's, Church of God's, let me kind of explain how this would have worked at the time. Even into the 70s and 80s when I was a child, these places were small churches. They generally did not have air conditioning, so in the spring and summer, the doors and windows were open. And these services often went late into the night, 9, 10, 11 o'clock, midnight, even a half a mile away. If you were sitting out on your porch, you were enjoying the church service whether you really wanted to be or not. That's just the way it was. It was loud. It was kind of boisterous. It was exciting for church, which I'm sure is one of the things that would have attracted Elvis. It attracted me also as a child. But if you were anywhere in the neighborhood, this became part of your life, whether you were attending church there or not. That's just the way it was if you lived in the South near one of these churches. And a replica of an outhouse. And let me tell you something. You go to these places and they talk about outhouses being from the past. In Virginia, about 15 years ago, I know a man that got a permit to build, and he constructed one right in his front yard, about 10 feet from his house and about 10 feet from the highway. Backside of the museum, you may even catch a glimpse of my van, but if you look way back up here, big boy here needs the exercise. It's a stick bug, not a stink bug, a stick bug, because they look like a stick. They kind of blend in. Becoming a poor 11-year-old boy into the most famous performer in the world. Thank you. Thank you. A little more applause. Thank you. Thank you.
Budget Travel Guy has now left the building.
And it's really nicely laid out and really nicely done. If you want to spend the money, there are 3 parts to the tour here. One is a childhood museum, this building you see behind me. The second one is actually touring inside the little white house. And the third one would be a tour of the little church. Currently, it is $9 to do one of those, $15 to do 2 of those, and $19 if you do all 3 of those. Those are adult ticket prices.